Welcome to Sanmoon. Today we are going to discuss about the NGModel will be able to apply in multiple different control tags. If you are new for this particular video, please go through with the old videos because we have been discussed extensively about the Angular project creations, component creations, various things like that. Okay. So in this particular session, I would like to show you how many control tags are there and how we can apply the NGModel so that we can capture the input given by the user, and also I'm going to demonstrate a small program which we can able to enforce. A function can be able to use that NGModel value which is given by the user and also displays the result in the HTML. So in Angular, this is called two-way binding. Let us start the session. So in this particular program, as we know, I'm using my component is for the example. The my component is a combination of CSS, HTML, and spec and TS files, and have been discussed about how we are able to create a variable in the component and how we have been binded with the NGModel to the control tags. So currently in this particular session, in the previous session, we have been discussed only for the text boxes, and I would like to show you there are multiple control tags like list box, select box, radio button, check boxes, text areas like that, and how we can able to use the NGModel, and once we apply the NGModel, how it will be able to show the value. Okay, so let's delete the certain part of thing in this particular application, and here we have already a particular variable which is a name which is NGModel, and here in this program we have already created the name and call me function. So let me delete again and I will create it again for our continuousness. So we have a, I would like to just create a variable which is name, and I just mentioned any. In this case, any means any kind of value I can able to give. It's not only a certain data type like string or number. Currently I'm just declared as any, and this particular name I can able to use in the NGModel for the text box or any other control tag. So in this case I'm just wanted to check with text box, and we have one method which is call me method, and I would like to show there in the call me method something like in the console.log what is the value of the name, given name, something like that, and I would like to just print in the console which is this dot name. This why I should use because that is a name is a class level variable, and if I wanted to access the name which is class level variable, I have to use this. So let me save this, and I have to check in the browser. So we have only one name text box, and let me open up the developer tools. The developer tool will have a console, and if you see that if I type something and it won't show up anything because the button is not there. Let me just create the button also where I can able to call this call me method. So we were having the button. So in this particular button I've been just used the button here to call the method, and now we can see there is a button and I just type something and I'm clicking on the button, I can able to see the given name is private. So that means what? Whatever have been typed here, which is able to bind to the a name variable, and that name variable able to print there. That's what it is, right? So now I wanted to understand one thing. Rather than putting in the console, if I wanted to print in the HTML itself, how I can do that? We can able to do it. We already discussed about it, which is called interpolation. The interpolation is the mechanism where we can able to print the variable value in the HTML. So current variable which we are using is name, and I would like to print this variable into the HTML using interpolation. Let us do that. So I'm going to create one container tag for it. Uh, I would like to create a control tag for it, and I'll just use the interpolation, and I'll just put the name here, which is the display value for the variable. Now let us save this and let us check here in the browser. Let me type something, and you just see that something is actually displaying here directly, because Angular uses two-way binding, and the moment we bind the variable, the data variable, that will be automatically binded, and the value wherever you are using, that will be automatically reflected. So you don't need to do anything for it, it automatically does. So you are not writing any program to do that. That is the beautiness of Angular two-way binding. So if you see there, something which I typed directly reflecting in the interpolation, if I click also, the same thing we are going to see in the our function program as well. So this is one thing. Second thing, how I can able to bind with different control tags. So let me do the same thing with a number, the the input type. For example, I just wanted to create one input type which is number. So if it's a number, then how I can able to bind, because the number is a different kind of text box where it allows only numbers. If I type the text, it won't allow, and also the display will be there, which is having a roller where you can able to increase or decrease the number. So this is what is a number box, and how to able to bind the NGModel variable to this is also the same way, which have been already discussed about it. Same way, however, we did. In this case, I just wanted to use the name only the one variable. You can able to create multiple variables if you would like to do that. Currently in our program, we are just concentrating on the one variable only. Just wanted to concentrate on the binding part of it. So this is the variable name. NGModel is equal to name. For the type number kind of control tag also we can do the same thing. So let us observe here, if I type 12, it will be reflecting everywhere, and also here. Let me put this double put tools right side. Okay, so if you would like to see in the console, if I'm clicking on it, you can able to see the given name is 12. So this is the developer tool, and you can able to arrange developer tool any site, as we know already. So, and also you can observe that particular name variable is the same and it is reflecting everywhere. So that's what you need to understand here. So in this case, I just use the number. So I just use the number type. So if I type something like a number, it's also reflecting everywhere wherever I'm using, and also inside the JavaScript method. So that's what you wanted to understand. And one more kind of which I would like to show you here. I just use the same way of pattern, because this is the pattern we are going to use it, which is date actually. And input type will be the date. So if it is date, so how I can able to bind the NGModel is also the same way. So there is no difference on that. So you no need to worry about any kind of differences over there, because the date type, whatever the input types, in this case what we understand is whatever the input type it can be. So NGModel is the same way we can able to bind actually. So now the date has been observed here, and I can able to select one of the dates from the calendar, and it got selected and it has reflected everywhere. And the number is not displaying because it is not in the number type, because number box is allowed only the numbers, it won't allow any other pattern. So it is not displaying, but the value is the same in the variable and it is reflecting everywhere. I'm clicking on the method. Since the method is already binded, and I'm clicking on the button is actually binded with the method, and the method also showing the same value. So that's how it is. And let's go to the another way of controls, which is select box. Let me add the control which is select box. Now I'm going to use the select, and in the select box there are options. Let me put option 1 and option 2. In this case I just use, I don't want to use value for now, I'll just use the option. So if I'm using option only, then whatever the value selected by the user, let me save it and observe over here. We can able to see the select box got up here, but the CSS is not applied properly. That's just because the CSS we were not updated to the select. So it is only updated to the button and the input. Let me put select also and see how it looks. So I just use the select also over there, and now it looks like differently. If you see there, it got applied but it's not correct. So yeah, so it's just like a blue it came actually, because the button thing I've been used here. So the background got blue. Let me just update the CSS for the select. Let me remove the blue background, and so now the select box should not have the blue, but yes, the color also I'll remove for now, because it should have their own color. And this is how it is. So we can easily update the CSS whenever required. But yes, if you select one of them from the list, how I can able to bind with the variable is the question. So let's go to the HTML and apply the NGModel to the select. So this is what we have to understand here. For the select, you have to apply the NGModel to the select. You don't need to do anything to the options. So you just wanted to apply the NGModel on the select actually. If you do that, then whenever you select any option, that value of the particular option will be set it to the variable. So that's how it would be. So let me just select one. If you see there, everywhere one got able to assign, and I'm just clearing the console and clicking on the button, since it's actually available in the Typescript as well in the method. So that's how it should be. So that is how the select box can be able to applied. Let me do the same way to the other controls. So I just wanted to introduce in this case, which is checkbox. So input checkbox. So input checkbox, let's remove the ID and name for now, and wanted to put the NGModel the same way. NGModel is equal to, here the name only, but you can able to add the labels, as we did not add a label over there. Here you can able to use the label, and label is actually a select. So in this particular example, I can use the label. The label is actually the checkbox. So the moment I keep it, so that the output will be the clear cut output, and I can able to understand that checkbox is like this. And you see that this is the select and this is the checkbox, and I have been binded the for the checkbox also. NGModel is the name. So if I check it, see what is happening there. The checkbox, if you bind it actually, and that will be actually tell you whether it is true or not. That's all. That means if I uncheck, it will become a false, and if you check, it will become true. You can able to observe that in the interpolation as well as in the text box the same way. So that's how it should be. Almost all the input type checkboxes, input type will be the same way in this particular way. One more thing I would like to tell you, which is radio button. Let me add a label for it. A label is actually radio, and the input is radio. So the same thing which I don't want to put ID and name for now. I just want to use NGModel, and is equal to the name. For now I just use the only name variable, but I can able to create multiple variables as we said in the previous sessions, and you can able to bind and you can use it. So the radio have been used, and you can see that radio got already created over there. And if you click it, what's happening? It's not happening anything, because the radio should have the value to reflect. So the radio, especially, you need to add a value, which what is the value, whatever the value. If you wanted to add it to the variable name variable, whenever you check it, this is the value I would like to pass it to the variable. Like that, if you think the value has to be added, so this is the value for now. And if you check it, if you see there, the radio value got out updated, and you can see the interpolation also showing the same thing. And let me clear and show you in the method what's there in the method. By clicking the button, you see the same thing will come there. So that's how it should be. So, and also one more, the last thing which I would like to tell you, which is text area. So let me create the same control container and add the text area. The text area is one more control tag where user can able to type a multi-line text actually. So if you observe here, the multi-line text can be able to type, and I would like to update the CSS so that it looks uniform. Now it looks uniform, and I don't want to put it down to the button. I'll just update the text area also inline to the before button, and so that it looks like uniform. I will able to update the label also for it, as we are doing for all. The label is actually text area. So now I would like to bind to the NGModel. So the same way, however, we are doing, the NGModel is very simple, and for all kinds of control tags we can able to use the same way. So now if you observe here, I can able to bind the NGModel. That means use the NGModel, bind the variable using NGModel with name variable. So let me understand here. I'm typing something. If you observe, it is reflecting everywhere wherever the NGModel got binded. And if you click the button, also it is showing in the method, and also it is showing in the interpolation. So this is how we can able to bind, and this is the way we are binding the variable with the different control tags. In this session, I've been already shown you the text box, the number, the date, and the select. checkbox and radio, text area. These are the most important control tags, and we can able to bind a variable using NGModel, and I've been showing you how we can able to use the interpolation and see the value, and all together is working now. If I change the calendar, the value is reflecting everywhere. If I select the option, it is reflecting everywhere because I'm using the same variable, so it is reflecting everywhere. If you are changing the variable's name is the name variable, number is number variable, like that, then it won't reflect everywhere, because whatever the value present, which will be binded to the same variable, so it won't actually reflect everywhere. So that's what you need to observe. I'm stopping the session. So in the next session, I'm going to show you using all these things how we can able to perform a program and continue things like that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching the video. If you like this session, please comment and share this video. If you don't want to miss my upcoming videos, please subscribe the channel.